Assalamu alaikum, dear students. It's me, Muhammad Zubair Khan, and this is the first week and the first lecture of Statistic 2, which is also called Inferential Statistic. And in this particular subject, we will study the different topics which are included in your course outline. So, the first topic that we are going to start, that is the index numbers, and I will try to divide the weekly lectures in two videos, and then I will give you some notes related to the two videos. Also, I will give you the assignment for practice. So in every week I will give you a single assignment, and in every week I will provide you the two videos related to the different topics which we will discuss in the upcoming classes in different weeks. The first point or the first topic that we are going to study, that is index number. So first we will try to define the index number, that what is mean by index number. Index number basically, it's a relative change. Relative means that when you are measuring the change in a percentage form. There are two types of, you can say, calculation. One is called absolute calculation, another is called relative calculation. In absolute calculation, we are measuring or we are finding the different averages, we are finding the difference between the items, or we are calculating the specific change in absolute form. That is basically called absolute value. And sometimes we are doing calculation, and that is basically called relative calculation. So relatively calculation means that when you are finding the value in percentage form. So first we need to understand what is mean by index number. Index number basically change in a variable with respect to time. Change in a variable with respect to time. Now variable, that is in Dari it's called majhul. Variable is a characteristic that can take on different possible values. You have studied in statistic 1 that what is mean by a variable. That is a characteristic that which can take on different possible values. That is called what? Variable. So a change in a variable with respect to time, that is basically called index number. Index number basically it's a kind of measurement which measuring the changes in a variable with respect to time. So the variable may be quantity, the variable may be quality, the variable may be price, the variable may be production. So first, generally, we will try to explain that what is mean by index number. So index number basically change in a variable. The proper definition is given in the notes also, and the explanation is also given in the notes, so you can study from there also. But I will give you a brief explanation, a little bit brief explanation about the index number here in this video. Change in a variable with respect to time, change in a variable with respect to time, that is basically called index number. Now there are many types of index number. So the first one is price index number, the second one is quantity index number, the third one is value index number. Then we can divide it in two more types. These are called simple price index and composite price index. So first we need to explain that what is mean by price index number. Generally we can say change in a variable with respect to time. So if we take variable, if we take price as a variable, if we take price as a variable, then the index number becomes price index number. And if we take quantity as a variable, quantity may be production, quantity may be used item, quantity may be sold item, and the change from one time period to another time period of that particular quantity, that is basically called what? Quantity index number. After that, value index number. So value index number is the composition of price as well as quantity. It measures change in price as well as change in quantity from one time period to another time period. So time period is also is specified when you are talking about the definition of index number, because when you are saying that what is index number, so index number is a you can say it's a change in a variable with respect to time. With respect to time means from one time period to another time period. For example, if we are finding the prices, the increasement of prices of a single commodity, suppose if we have a commodity or if we have a product like a marker, and if we are trying to search out that how much the prices are increased in the last 10 years, so we will take from the last 10 year, we will start the calculation, and we will find out that how much the price is increased from this particular time to this particular time. That's why you can say that it's depends on the product, and it's also depends on times also. So the main factor in the index number is change in variable as well as change in from time to time, from one time to another time. After that, another point which is very much important, that an index number is the measure of change in a variable or group of variables. Maybe a single variable or group of variable. Maybe a single variable for single commodity or group of variable from one time period to another time period. It is typically used in economics to measure trends in a wide variety of areas, including stock markets, as well as prices, cost of living things, industrial production or agriculture productions, and import exports. These are the areas where index numbers are very much vital used, or the importance of index number is there with the wide range. And index numbers are one of the most used statistical tools in economics, but especially it is the vital use in the field of economics. So you need to understand that first the definition of index number. What is index number? Change in a variable with respect to time. That is called index number. Types of index number: price index number, change in a price of a commodity or group of commodity from one time period to another time period, that is called price index number. Quantity index number: change in the production or change in a quantity of a product from one time period to another time period. Value index number: change in a price as well as change in a quantity from one time period to another time period. These three major types of index numbers. After that, simple price index and composite price index. So it's very much simple. Simple price index is that particular price index which measures the change in the prices of a single commodity from one time period to another time period. And composite price index, that we will study these types in the next upcoming classes. So composite price index, it is used for the composition of products. Means that if we have more than one commodities, and if we are finding changes in prices from one time period to another time period of the group of commodities, that is basically called what? Composite price index. So for that purpose, we are using fixed base method and chain base method also. Fixed base method, that we will fix a specific year, and from that particular year we will count or we will calculate the changes in the prices up to the current time period. So I will discuss the fixed base method in the next class, and I will discuss with the formula that how to calculate the simple price index in case if a single commodity is given. So this was the brief explanation about the index numbers. In the next class, inshallah, we will take a start to do calculation practically of simple price index. Thank you very much. Allah Hafiz.